Welcome back to the news at 10. A former Minister of Environment, Mrs. Laurentia Malam, and her husband, who were kidnapped by gunmen along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, have regained freedom. The Kaduna State Police Public Relations Officer, who confirmed the couple's rescue to Channels Television, says they were freed at about 6 o'clock this evening. Although Mr. Aliyu Usman declined to give details on how the ex-minister and her husband were rescued, the police spokesman explains that both of them are in stable condition. The victims were said to have been abducted in the presence of their driver, who was later released. Police said the kidnappers did not make any ransom demand. Applying targets to professionalism will ensure better results in governance and administration. That's according to the President and Chairman of the Council of Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, Mr. Nat Ofor. Mr. Ofor was speaking in an interview after he led his team on a visit to the Chairman and CEO of Channels Media Group, Mr. John Momo.
Now, when you are involved with government, you find that there are other considerations in decision making. And if you are a private sector person and you run your business professionally, you are not constrained by some of those restraints. And that is one thing that I think private sector persons should endeavor to do, to run their business professionally. And that entails a lot. You must be independent. You must know what you are doing. You must stick to the rules. You must ensure that you have targets. You must ensure that people are promoted based on accomplishment of targets and not for other reasons. It's the issue of quota does not even arise, and all of that. When you run a business professionally, there are certain things you must disregard. But sadly, those things play even greater part in public sector. And that is why we are seeing public sector entities going the way they are going.
Members of the Igbo Leaders of Thought are asking governors of the southeastern states to speak in one voice against the attacks on farmers by Fulani herdsmen across the country. This is one of the decisions reached at the group's meeting in Enugu, which was presided over by elder statesman Professor Ben Nwabweze.
The Igbo Leaders of Thought, led by the renowned legal luminary Professor Ben Nwabweze, is a group of statesmen from the southeastern part of the country. They meet occasionally to review the state of events in the country. This meeting, however, is coming almost a year after the last one, and the group believes a lot has happened during the period that calls for concern.
The Fulani herdsmen, our governors should meet and say, we don't want this anymore. Yes, let them stay somewhere. Let them open whatever they call it, but not here. Yes, these are the things we want.
Apart from the issue of the herdsmen, the group also wants the federal government to address what it calls imbalance in federal appointments. For the agitators of the sovereign state of Biafra, the statesman says the young men should tread softly.
What do you want? Self-determination? Okay, that's a big thing. Use it as a cover. Don't come out openly and say that you are agitating because you want the sovereign state of Biafra. Sovereign state of Biafra within sovereign Nigeria. You have to be extremely careful.
There's no doubt that the nation can do with the wisdom of statesmen like these, especially now that the nation is going through some economic challenges.
Staying in the southeast, as the federal government and indeed citizens look for ways to pull the country out of recession, some Nigerians are already thinking in the direction of developing their individual regions in the hope that others will follow suit. Speaking at a forum in Awka, the Anambra State capital, the traditional ruler of Onitsha, Obi Nnemeka Achebe, encouraged the Igbo people to develop the region economically, which will in turn impact the country's economy.
Sons and daughters of Igbo land, drawn from all walks of life, a people known for their industrial nature, gather at the Professor Dora Akunyili Women Development Center, Awka, for the second phase of the Anambra at 25 celebration. The traditional ruler of Onitsha, Obi Nnemeka Achebe, who's done well in private business before his present status, drums home the message for every indigene to fully utilize their potential in the field of business.
Ndị Igbo must in the meantime not fold their hands waiting for their preferred scenario for Nigeria to materialize, but must continue to strive for the best under prevailing circumstances and likely scenarios.
He berates the Southeast political leaders for failing to unite the people and calls for concerted efforts to correct the anomaly in the interest of the region.
Instead of being a factor for healthy competition and strength, this situation has become a burden because trust does not anymore exist amongst our leaders in government.
The Anambra State government says it fully aligns itself with the monarch's core, having put in place measures that are conducive for doing business.
His Excellency Chief Dr. Willow Obiano has steadily and steadfastly created a socially stable and business-friendly environment that will attract both indigenous, all of us gathered here, as well as foreigners.
The message no doubt resonates with most of the attendees, and they say it couldn't have come at a better time.
If you listen to his lecture, Tessla's last word to his head, I entirely agree with him.
With this clarion call, expectations are high that the message will yield results and the Igbo people will contribute to the economic development of the region and, by extension, the nation.
Let's check in on the world of business. Here's Melinda Akilami.
You first. First Bank.
Thank you so much, Amarachi. Welcome to Business News. An indigenous manufacturing company, Erisco Foods Limited, has announced the suspension of its tomato farming and processing operation in Nigeria. This announcement was contained in a statement from the company's chief executive officer, Mr. Eric Umofia, who cited a difficult operating environment and lack of access to foreign exchange as reason for taking this decision. The company, reputed to be one of the biggest tomato paste manufacturers in Africa and the fourth largest globally, had earlier given the federal government an ultimatum to support manufacturers by creating a conducive environment to do business. This suspension is expected to affect over 1,000 members of its staff. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Paul Arkwright, says Nigeria needs to improve its ease of doing business index in order to attract foreign investment. Mr. Arkwright made these comments today when he paid a courtesy visit to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. He says British companies are holding back their investments as a result of low business confidence in the country.
Conscious of the economic realities here. That is difficult. It's a difficult trading environment at the moment. I think Nigeria has some way to go to improve the ease of doing business. As you know, Nigeria is too low on that index of the ease of doing business. British companies need to have confidence that they can invest here, that they can take their returns back. So there's a foreign exchange issue which is linked to that. But I am an optimist, and I think that Nigeria, with its potential and the kind of companies, British companies who are interested in coming here, will turn the corner, as I said. So I'm optimistic, but we have some way to go, and there are a number of obstacles in the way. The British government is looking to see what we can do to help overcome those obstacles.
The bears consolidated their grip on the local equities market today as main indicators went south by 0.95%. Here's Visi Adebayo with the rest of the market figures.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Reports. The haircut continued at the Nigerian equities market as the key index slipped by almost 1% to end midweek session at 28,009.40. Market capitalization also came in lower at 9.62 trillion naira. Investors exchanged 187.15 billion shares valued at 1.47 billion naira in over 3,000 deals. PZ led 21 other losers for the day with close to 10%. Caverton and flour mills were also on that list. 20 stocks appreciated with FCMB, Diamond Bank and Okomo Oil in the top 3 category. Bank stocks dominated on the volume chart with Access Bank pulling the highest shares at 29.96 million. And that ends the stock market reports. I am BC Adebayo.
Now let's check out major stock markets across the globe. In US and Asia, they closed Thursday's session positive, but Europe ended in the red following comments from US federal executives about the forthcoming interest rate hike. Take a look at the numbers. And with those numbers, we wrap up Business News. Thank you so much for watching. It's back to you, Amarachi.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Melinda. Next on the news at 10, 2016 Paralympic silver medalist Latifa Tijani gets mouth-watering reward from Ogun State government. We'll have more in sports news. Please join us again.